It's an understatement to say that you've had a distinguished career. You've published well over 1,000 papers. You've been a dean, a provost, president of many renowned institutions such as the Electrochemical Society of Japan, the Japanese Institute of Electronic Packaging, and of course ECS. In addition, you've won numerous awards, most recently ECS's Atchison Award, and you've been recognized as a highly cited researcher in the material science category by Thomson Reuters. When you were a child, is this the career that you imagined for yourself? Is this where you thought you would be today?
Anyway, thank you very much. And
you're quite welcome.
When I was younger, I like a Japanese poem, waka and haiku, because my father very familiar to make it. So until the junior high school, I enjoyed to make a haiku or the waka. Enjoyed it very much. But when I went to the high school, I learned the chemistry so well and attractive. The reason is chemistry is just make a new materials. So I felt that it might be future work. So I decided to go to the chemistry at the high school.
At high school?
Yeah, high school, yes.
Were there particular influences in your family that helped in the science? Do you come from a scientific background in your family?
Yeah, at that time the main ideas of the family, especially the father was a pastor, and he just showed me the direction. When I was a junior high school or the high school, always the father is just say, okay, give something to the credit to the many peoples, but sometimes failed and the foolish. So I feel it's so peculiar. Usually, if thinking, okay, the people who coming new one is sometimes give, oh, why don't you give me the money to support it to go there or something? But when I was younger, I felt, oh, it might be the loan, but he did it. So I just asked my father, why did that? So father said, oh, you have to learn the Bible, okay? Even the Jesus healed 10 peoples, but how many people coming back to say thank you? Only the one people. So this is the Christianity. He just told me, and he says you have to make treasures in heaven. So it's quite different on my own ideas. So, but I never accepted at that time. But it's my first influence or the strong from my father. So that is so that's sound or main idea is just coming to grown up. After the university's food, then the science should be important things to the human beings or something. So that idea is just coming to my ideas.
So there's a sense of service and giving back in what you've done. And so, also creativity in that the new materials are things that you're creating that don't exist already. And that's,
that's right. But the creating new materials is just for the people. Otherwise, it's not okay. It's not useful. So we should consider to the peoples to help. So I'm just thinking to that basic ideas from my fathers.
Wow, so that goes back a long way.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Were there particular events too that sort of helped to solidify this desire to create new science?
Yeah, because when I was university food and I have to find out which major. At that time, the creating a new material is okay. Polymer science or the polymer chemistry is the best. So I'm just thinking to the polymer sciences, but also the teacher or the professor of the polymer science is so attractive for me. But another attractive one is the electrochemistry, because that professor is teach me so the beautiful science, the thermal dynamics, and also the electrochemistry structures. So I feel, that time I felt so good and structures. So I just thinking which one. So then I'm just decided to lot of the coin. Yeah, at that time. Then the coin just showed the electrochemistry. So I
good thing.
Went, yeah.
Good thing for us anyway.
Yeah. So I decided to go to the electrochemistry at that time.
I think sometimes the big decisions like that are best left to chance and fate.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it certainly seems to have worked out well. So that coin held true for you.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of your studies, where did you do your education?
Oh, education is just okay. After the high school, I went to the Waseda University. I think that is one of the biggest private university. So usually the Waseda University is, I think, people is more than student is more than 60,000 people. So bigger. Yeah. But anyway, it's a strong influence to the industry and also the strong interest economics. Not economics. I guess. Yes, politics. Because the alumni 8 people going to the prime minister in Japan. So the very influential university. So I decided to go there and pass it.
And you did your undergraduate work there and your PhD as well there.
Yeah, so undergraduate, then after that, usually the part or the science and engineering should go to the master course at that time, but never going to the PhD. Usually after the master course in Japan, so almost students going to the industry and working to get the good positions in the industries. But at that time, the professor invited me to go to the PhD. But I'm just thinking, okay, maybe my families, the old family is going to almost the professor or the teachers. So just ask my father, why don't you go to the PhD? So okay, I decided to. So
no coin flip on this.
Yeah, at that time, no coin. I'm just thinking to, but it's a little bit costly, and the father have to help the something. But the father said, okay, PhD, okay. So I decided to go directly.
Wow. But then your studies took you elsewhere after you completed your PhD.
Oh, yeah, but Waseda University has a good courses of the PhD, so I decided. And also, when hope to go to the PhD, the top people just find out the same courses on the Waseda. So I decided to go there. And also the professor who lead me is just thinking to the next positions for me. But at that time, he never told me because he is a very strict person. So when I go to the labs in the morning, he always came to the labs around 8:30, very quicker. And so I have to go before him.
Right.
But he will return around 4 o'clock p.m. Then everybody is free and enjoyable more than, okay, long time, maybe 8 or 9. But he's so strictly. When he say, okay, you have to work in the lab, don't sit down, and return to the home earlier, then sit down on your desk in home and considering many things, and return to the early morning. So he's always teaching us such kinds of strict trainings.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoyed it very much.
And then following your PhD, you left Japan.
Oh yeah, that's it.
And you went to the United States.
Oh yeah.
Was that your first trip to the United States?
Yes.
So that was, you're a young man. You just completed your PhD, leaving Japan for the first time.
Yeah, that time,
going to Georgetown.
Georgetown, yes. The reason is at that time, the Dr. Robert Dreby, the professor of the Department of Chemistry at Georgetown, he using the new ideas or new apparatus. That is the FFT impedance measurement. But the target is quite different, just a biomembrane, the black lipid membrane, something like that, and to check the sodium ions and the potassium ions, how to through the membrane, biomembranes. So they use the Fourier transformation. Of course, mini computer, using the mini computer. At that time, he used the DEC computer, PDP-9 and PDP-11. But it's the first for me. And also, I don't know the Fourier transformation, but immediately frequency can get it. So I love it. So how to get it? So I just send letters to him, and immediately he showed me, why don't you come to immediately? But at that time also my boss is recommending me the Alan Bad, and also he visited us at that time in Japan. And my boss was, how to say, working for the plating of the chromium, because the reason is he was working on the war time, and chromium plating is one of the high technology to make inside of the cannon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but he created a new technology of the plating from the 3 valencies, not 6 valencies. So he was the first one to creating it, and also measure the 7 and 10 at that time, before the war, I think. But he published in Japanese. Nobody knows, but someone suggested Alan at that time, and he visited us. And but my boss understands German very well, but German language is he learns very well, but he cannot speak English well. So the Alan is just asked him, why don't you make a review of the first chromium deposition of the 3 valencies? But he just thinking, oh, very tough work to English. So German is okay, but but ancient times professor in Japan is learned German very well. And also I can a little bit understand the German.
You can understand a little bit.
Yeah. So the other time, okay. So but anyway, second language at that time, the English, also the German. So because the reason is the German Bible is so attractive at that time. And so I learned it very much. But anyway, so always the text of the German is important for me at that time. So the German papers he brought me to the very big one to learn 3 months. Okay, I will learn only the 1 month. So I just studied. Right. So anyway, so at that time, so also I applied to the impedance measurement. So the Dr. Dreby sent me why don't you come immediately, because the fund is now available. So the next week, I came here, United States, the bicentennial, July 6 or 8. So after ceremony, but anyway, came here. So it's a Washington D.C.
Right.
So and also it's the first experience to fly to here. So but Dr. Dreby just sent me the mail. It's not the internet, and just came to the airport near the center, center of the Washington D.C. Usually Dallas is a direct flight, but cannot come to the center of the airport. So I tried to come to the California, change the flight to the domestic flight. So, but it's a first experience for me. The California is no problem because the Japanese stewardess is available.
Right.
But after that, no Japanese. It's a first experience for me. And the stewardess is just coming to, okay, which one do you like? Okay, this dinner or lunch or something. But I never understand at that time. So stewardess angry. Okay, you like hot or not? I like hot. Okay, hot one. This something like that.
Right.
So it's a first experience for me.
Yeah, that's challenging. So we didn't meet at that time, but I was in Washington for the
really?
bicentennial
really?
On July 4th as well that year.
Oh, I see.
I was, I don't even want to say how
maybe
old
the younger.
I was 6.
Oh my goodness.
No, I was 8.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. But anyway, at that time, I enjoyed Washington D.C. very much, yeah.
That was actually an exciting, anniversary to be in America.
Yeah. And also the Dr. Levy, and then he gave me the one course and showed how to use the gasoline to put in automatically or by yourself.
Right.
How to buy the food teach, and how to go to the labs. Then he gave me the key of the house, but he spent 1 week or the summer holidays. And all the students, the summer camp. So nobody there. So you can enjoy my house. She just gave me the key and also the cars, and also just show the labs. But the labs is one PhD lady took care of me. But it's a first experience. How to drive it, how to buy the food.
And first time driving on the right side of the road which is not a trivial task, right?
Yeah, it's a first experience to right-handed.
And did you know anybody? Did you have anybody you knew in Washington, or you were just
only for me? No Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So after 3 months, I never used the Japanese. Only learn the English only.
Yeah.
And also, after 3 months, I met the Japanese guys who works in the medical courses, because Georgetown is also the nice clinics in the universities and the hospital, and he worked at there. But before that, I never met the Japanese people. It's a good for the training the spoken English. But when met Bob is Dr. Levy. Okay, you really wrote this English paper? He asked me. Yes, but Japanese people is usually can write in English, but very tough work to speak English. He said, oh my goodness, okay, you have to learn English within 1 month. Or no, just added spoken English, you have to learn it. So it's okay. Otherwise, you have to return. It's crazy. Okay, but because he was Dutch people, and he can understand French, or of course the Dutch and the German and the English, and his wife is a German, and so the language is very freely he can understand. So that he cannot understand the Japanese style. If the professor can use the postdoc of the Japanese, they know the Japanese behaviors, but they don't know. So you have to go to the morning 1 month of the English course. So I went there. But at that time, he said, okay, I will pay the tuition. So at that time, I had proud of it. I have to pay by myself, otherwise it's my fault. So I paid by myself. So the Bob just recognized me as research workers. Otherwise, he say, oh, you are still the student or something. But I enjoyed it very much.
And how long did you stay at Georgetown?
2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I want to move into a little bit more about your later time in your career.
Yes.
Your expertise is in electrochemical and nanotechnology. That's a discipline that really didn't even exist when you were doing your PhD, when you came to Georgetown to do your postdoc.
Yes.
How did you get into that, and describe for me what it's like to be at the edge of a new field and pushing that envelope forward?
Oh, yeah, but the custom of the PhD in Georgetown, Georgetown is anyway, that's so beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, and also the custom is quite different because in Japan the PhD people is never coming so much at that time, but when coming to the PhD, yeah, the professors others is take care of it so strongly to get the PhD thesis, but at the universities, okay, so learn many things. Also the classes, they have classes, 4 classes, okay, biochemistry, the physical chemistry, I remember, and also 2 others. So 4 should be learned classes, even the graduate course, and after that make a thesis, and then sometimes someone is failed it. So, but someone is pass it, and everybody, or the whole of the people of the department enjoyed and say that, oh, happy, or the drinking at the afternoon or something.
College,
right? Yeah. So it's a quite different of ours. So the PhD course in Japan is no duty of the classes, and only the research work. But anyway, I learned many things, and also I had teachers to the courses of the new coming on, the teaching assistant, and enjoy. But okay, language is a little bit at that time I grown up, but the technology, how to measure it, is easier for me. So I just teaching the many students to how to do that, how to measure it. So I enjoyed it very much.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I bet you did. So you've moved into electrochemical nanotechnology.
Yeah, that's right.
And but that wasn't a field that existed. So can you take us through where you see it going now, as you've been at it since the start?
Oh yeah. The nanotechnology, electrochemical nanotechnology, at that time, there's no ideas.
Yeah.
But the why I started that is, of course, the research work. When I was bachelor's courses, I learned UPD, behaviors. And after return to the Georgetown, and I just working for the same machines. So we have to buy the mini computers, but it's very expensive. But I cannot buy the deck. Deck is the price at that time. Each month its price is changing. So I cannot buy it. And my boss say, okay, Japanese one should buy it. So because many colleagues is available in Japan, so that we contracted to buy the mini computer in Japanese one, but pay the 3 years expensive one. Yeah. But then set up the machine mini computer with potential stat through the potential stat to measure the electrochemical impedance. So it's I think it's first a trial in the electrochemistry, I guess, but it takes nearly 1.5 years. So I never published the paper for that machines. After 1.5, then I can make a big papers for also using it. But so at the same times, that we collaborate together all the industry, because our alumni is so many people is available from the industry side, and also my boss was a specialist of the plating. So the NEC at that time, the NEC Corporation is tried to the hard disk, magnetic hard disk by plating, but they never have a reproducibility. Especially the plating is electroless plating. So the boss is just, boss, not my boss, NEC boss is just came to my boss and asked, because the young guys came from the Japan, from the US, so maybe that he can work very hard, so why don't you work together? So we started that work. That is the initial work to find out the nanotechnologies. So
that's how it started.
Yeah, because the plating, the electroless plating of the cobalt alloys, always at that time the value is a quadrimeter 800 Elsted, but the same plating bus, this time 800, but stop 8, and the next one the same plating, and the temperature is 60 a little bit. Then it becomes a little bit changing. So they don't know the why. So maybe they hope to use the nice water, but now the water is so the semiconductor field, but there's no available of such kind of water. So they wondering why. So at that time, just my idea is coming out. Okay, I learned the UPD. UPD is so sensitive of the electrochemical catalytic powers. So the collaboration started. Then at that time the cobalt ion chemicals contains many a little bit of the ions, also nickel ions or the other things. So ppm or ppd order, ppm or ppb orders. So I adding the additional lead ions, also the something like silvers, and also the iron, ferrous ions to add the plating bus. Then immediately, only the ppm or the ppb orders, the quality will be quite changing. So I just imagine, it might be the UPD, because UPD just cover the one layers or only a few layers on the top, the equivalent potentials before that. So sometimes it just adjusting to the catalyst of the plating. So then finally I found out ppm order of the ferric or ferrous ions in the chemicals is so effective to changing the coercivity. So special orders of the chemical companies to take off, and also special processes to homogeneous electrochemical activity to the top. So we found out. But at that time, the order of nanos is so important things to control the electrochemistry. So that is original ideas. So we are thinking to that, but at that time there's no ideas. Then if control such kinds of monolayer or the several layers of the top, it's just exactly a nanotechnology can control the homogeneous and also the durability spreading. So the NEC just find out it and industrializing. So finally they shared the 60 or 70% of, at that time, the electrode spreading media. So, and also finally the NTT is at that time the big companies and connecting together all the government support, and they shipping the media and the HDD. And exactly that machine is over the IBM machine. So it's one of the proud of it. Yeah. So that is the first ideas of the nanotechnology to come that.
So you mentioned your work in nanotechnology coming out of collaboration. And I know about you as a great collaborator.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about how that first collaboration came out and how that has played an important role in your career.
Okay, so the collaboration with the NEC it just started through our alumni And Waseda is a so good alumni in the industry side, so we started. And after that, the idea is also coming from the ECS meeting, because that result is over the IBM's machine at that time. So I went to the ECS after the Georgetown. That is the first experience is a Hawaii meeting together with the ECS.
Do you remember what year that was?
I think 1984 or 1986, I'm not sure, but around 1980.
So that was your first experience with ECS, was a meeting in Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii, yes.
Which is why I always say it's a great destination, because
you
can get Asia and America meeting about halfway in Japan, or in Hawaii. Right?
Yeah, so and also good chances for me to come to the ECS meeting. The reason is usually the ECS is the May and the autumn, so it's not never or the middle of the summer.
Right.
So the summertime I can come easier because I was younger, so many classes.
Yeah.
So I couldn't that. But when I came to the Hawaii meeting, the Ruby Romanco IBM is a big groups at that time, and the magnetics, and he creating the thin film head, and then he make one symposium, magnetic symposium, and he brings, I think the maximum might be the more than 200 people coming from the IBM, his group. So I was surprised. But anyway, at that time, I have a first presentation in the Hawaii meeting, and just before the noon. Then, but the first experience to speak my job, but many people, famous people coming to my questions and make a line. So I was surprised, what happened? Okay, so at that time IBM might have data, and also Ruby later, and also the Canada's, the Schrödinger, Mordecai Schrödinger is coming, and also some famous, familiar of the papers people coming. And the reason is I continuously load the papers of that catalyst of the electroless plating to the Journal of Electrochemical Society. They catch up it, and they interested it, and also Ruby is just likes it, and supporting me so many times. And after that, so the Schultz, Walter Schultz is a University of Düsseldorf, and he came to us to how to start to the microtechnologies of the electrochemistry. So Ruby is just coming to, and the three of us just thinking, okay, we should make a workshop or the international meeting over the nanotechnologies. So the Schultz belongs to the ISC groups. So the before ISC or the after ISC meeting, we make now the calling the electrochemical nano and micro technology meeting. So that it's a more, now this time is a 14 times, so maybe the 20 or several, more than 20 years it started. That is the first experience of the nanotechnologies. So the ECS just creating the members of the such kind of workshop, and also Ruby is just take care of me at that time, even though I was younger. So it's a so nice collaboration. And once in a year, he invite me to the Watson and have lectures. So, and also he showed many things. So I enjoyed, because at that time the IBM Watson is big for us and enjoyable, and also he teach me many things. But at that time he's not electrochemist, not electroless plating, and electroplating, but exchange many things. So that is the first experience of the ECS meeting.
So this began a long relationship between you and ECS.
Yeah, that's right.
So what was your first volunteer or committee position that you held with the society?
Oh, committee region is mainly, the symposium officers. And also at that time, the division is available in the ECS. And so each person belongs to the representative of the divisions. But the Japan side, Electrochemical Society of Japan, don't have the division so well. So the head of the meeting at that time, the ECS meeting, just the Japan representative nominating the divisions representatives. At that time, I was younger, but I became one of the representatives of the division, electro-deposition. Right. That is the first one, and combined together of the how to make a symposia, and together of the Japan side and the U.S. side. That is the first experience, and also I spent so many chairs of the symposia, and also gradually coming to the several committees. So I'm a little bit familiar to the U.S. ECS systems. So that is the beginning to my experience.
And it's been a fruitful relationship for both parties, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
What would you say, the true value of being involved in a society like ECS is, or any of the other ones that you've been affiliated with? There's been so many.
Yeah, I think make a good friend. And even I was younger, but if it's quite different from the Japan style, if the big guys are just like Ruby Romankyu, or the batteries is just like Scrodati, Bruno Scrodati, he's a big guys. But they come to, your lecture is good, or talk is good. Why don't you join together or something like that? So in Japan, usually they never do that. So the established people never contact the young people, but ECS is just frankly so easily to contact to the established peoples, and also they suggest medicines. So they make good friends and make leaders, and also sometimes they invite us to the Washington. For example, the Ruby's IBM Watson, and also the Bruno Scudati invited the University of Rome. And so this is exactly the chances to collaborate together, and also learn many things of the other side, and also just express to my ideas together. So that is a point of this meeting. So make a good friend and also collaborate together, but even no money, but sometimes the big guys offer us. So that is a great chances to especially the young people.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I love about being affiliated with ECS is that you see the generational aspect of collaboration, where there's students, mid-career, and the luminaries in the field like yourself. And sometimes I don't think the students even realize, the people they're dealing with, because it's on such a familiar level right in the beginning of the relationship, that these wonderful collaborations across generations occur.
Yeah, that's right.
And you see it happening, time and time again at meetings like ours. But you were president at a very interesting time in ECS's history. I think really a groundbreaking and transformative time in its history, in that you were president at the launch of Free the Science.
That's right.
Which is, I think, a radical initiative by the society to take its publications business, move it from one that is a subscription-based model where institutions pay large sums of money to access the content, and we're going to make it completely free. Free to authors, free to readers, What was your thinking at the time? Because as someone who manages the business of a nonprofit, it is a little bit of a radical, it's certainly a departure from how we've conducted our operations before.
In future, I think the commercialization of the publishers might be the problem, because the internet and also is developed more, easier to open. So maybe the situation might be changing from now, but it takes a little bit time should consider such kinds of the results, because science should be the free, because it's for the every people and encouraging to the young peoples. So the open access is okay, but charge it is a little bit problem. So charge it to the library is okay, but the society's charge is a little bit different ideas.
I think so. And you make a great point that it should be free for the people. And one of the things that attracted me to ECS was how international, how global it is, and how easily it's global.
Oh yeah. That's
you don't see national differences have any impact. This is a community that defines itself by science and technology. And the other reason I think it needs to be free is because the work that is done to produce this content, both in terms of the authors who write it, but I think just as important are the reviewers who validate the science. And when they review, that's what separates us from, say, Wikipedia. Our publishing is vetted good science. And in the era of free dissemination, or easy dissemination of information, that stamp of quality,
that's right.
that seal of approval from the community that says this is good science, is incredibly valuable. And I think it should be free. And that's why I was so excited about joining ECS as someone on the staff. And the prospects that it holds for our future for those things like collaboration and solving really the grand challenges that face all of humanity. It's a very inspiring thing, and it's wonderful to talk to somebody who's been such an intimate part of it. So following on this collaboration between established scientists, luminaries in the field like yourself, what advice would you give to younger scientists who are just in school now or just coming out of school?
The system of the student societies is very good ideas, because in the case of the Japan, the journal Electrochemical Society of Japan, we have local areas groups of the students, and when they enter the society, usually they can keep, half of them they keep. So the initial start of the electrochemistry should young people. The young people is when understand the good experience of the electrochemical societies, they can keep longer. So the student classes or the societies should encourage. But in Japan the area is smaller, easier to make it. But Electrochemical Society is international, so in the world, so a little bit complicated. So the very tough work to communicate together. But the leaders or in the university should make groups of the younger people to encourage join to the electrochemistry. But sometimes the young people attend to the meeting, but sometimes cannot pay the charge of the members. So maybe we have to something to creating to the merit for the young people to the discount or something for the while. But after that, they have to pay us the full charges of the members or something. I think that system more important in future, not now. In future is very important. So when a younger food experience is so effective to the people. So I think so.
That's good advice
Yeah.
for us, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's obviously a big focus of what we want to do is
Yeah.
promote student participation, because they are the ones who are going to fix these problems in the future. And
Yeah.
the societies provide a chance for them to learn and be inspired by luminaries such as yourself. I want to thank you. It's been a great honor for me to sit down and talk to you,
Okay.
Osaka Sensei. It's
Yeah,
been
and
wonderful.
also-
Thank you.